Hey world, Rising Star here with another interview, and today we're joined with Canadian-Jamaican artist King Cruff.
Hello, how's everyone doing?
Hello to the world. So I like to start off my interviews with rapid fire, just like silly questions. And so first things first, what is your favorite time of year?
My favorite time of year is summer, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't like Canadian winters?
Not at all. No.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I'm Canadian.
You're in Montreal, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Ontario's been getting it,
we're getting
unfortunately.
it. Oh yeah, we're getting it too. We're it's time to hibernate, really.
Yeah.
When you think of your childhood, what memory pops up into your mind?
Um, Honestly, watching a lot of cartoons, man. I was I was glued to my TV. So yeah. Yeah.
Nice. What was your favorite cartoon?
Ooh, that's a good one. You know what? The goated one is Avatar: The Last Airbender,
Hmm.
for
People
sure.
are still on it, so yeah,
Yeah, it's standing the test of time for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And it will continue. And what's your feel good song?
At the moment, you know which song I like? I like that Kate Trinata and Lucky Day song.
Yeah,
What's it called? Look Easy. Yeah, I love that song.
okay. Toronto's from Montreal, so yes,
I know that. Yeah,
we support. You like Toronto has Drake. We have Kate Toronto.
yeah. That's a good claim to have, to be
Yeah,
honest.
exactly. We're winning, really.
Mhm.
So congrats on your new single.
Thank
Super.
you.
Can you tell us the inspiration behind it?
Inspiration behind Soufflé. I was the whole story is that I was seeing a girl. And this was like this weird time in the pandemic where things was kind of opening up.
Mm,
But me and her were talking about how because everything was closed down, we never really got the opportunity to go out and actually vibe or enjoy things or go to the club or things like that. So I kind of feel like because that was going on in my life when I went into the studio and I picked this beat and I was trying to do something new, I was kind of like, all right, you know what, that's the story of what's going on right now. Let me put that down to pen and paper and try and make something groovy.
nice. It was a success.
Thank you.
Made them groovy.
Ah,
And for the music video, it's stunning. And I'm curious about how do you work with the animators or the videographers to make your vision come to life?
so when I'm working with the Lighter Juice team, who's the one that's done that video and all of my music videos so far, it's a very good relationship. They're very open to new ideas. They like a lot of storytelling in their stuff, and they like just going for the weird. Like if I'm like, yo, I think this idea would look dope or this idea would look dope, they're just like, yeah, let's go and do it. So shout out to the Lighter Juice boys because they really bring your vision to life in a way that like when you watch the video, you're like, boom, this is better than I even expected.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really cool. It's a stunning video. And what do you want people to feel when they listen to your new single or your music in general?
I want every song has like its own different objective.
Right.
So I kind of want people, well, with Soufflé, I kind of want people to feel like I want people to just dance, man. You know what I mean? I think that it's a very simple thing, but I just want people to listen to that and be like, "Ooh, okay, this makes me want to move."
Nice. That's a good
Mhm.
thing. After you were just talking about the pandemic and everything, it's like we need music to dance to again.
We need to be outside.
We need to be outside moving, just not in the winter.
Not at all.
Can you tell us how your musical background has affected your music?
Hmm. My musical background.
Or well,
Well,
your musical background or your background, how it has affected your music.
Well, I grew up in Jamaica, so I kind of feel like that helps because in Jamaica, it's like there's music everywhere. You know what I mean? It's actually kind of sad because when I was younger, I couldn't sing. So, but everybody around me could sing. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? So, but it's inspiring because everyone around you plays an instrument. Everything around you is just vibes.
Hmm.
So you kind of you kind of take that in and you kind of be like, I want to give these vibes back to the world. So you learn it one way or the other.
Okay. And
Yeah.
so did you get a singing coach? How did
I do have a singing coach. I have two singing coaches.
okay.
I just want to be better, but that's recent. That's been a recent thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean just keep improving, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to grow as an artist.
Got to. Got to. How do you feel like your transition was from Jamaica to Canada?
I feel like it was a very interesting transition because I feel like there's just a different way of socializing from those two countries. You know what I mean? Like they're two completely different worlds. So I do feel like there was a lot of like learning that had to be done between the two.
Can you
But
explain a bit how they're different?
what's that?
Could you explain a little about how they're different? Like, what was the biggest difference? Your culture shock.
Mhm. I feel like, well, the funniest thing that came off was learning how to cross the road because up here we have like the crosswalks,
Mhm.
but in Jamaica you're just kind of like, all right, my time, and you just walk across the road whenever. So that
Right.
was fun to learn. But even just like the people are different, the manners are different. So you're kind of like learning that as you go. But it's been pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah,
Do you plan on staying in Canada?
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like whenever the time comes for me to feel like I need to move, I will.
Mhm.
But yeah,
For now.
for now.
Now we get to keep you.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the place to be.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
And what was so you came here to study, correct?
Yeah, yeah. I came here for school originally.
Did you ever think of going to the States or anything? Like why'd you choose Canada?
I feel like Canada at the time when we were kind of deciding where to go, Canada kind of has this vibe of like, the world looks at Canada as just a very nice place and a
Hmm.
very easy place to kind of like assimilate yourself into.
Yeah.
So, and also I was born in Canada. So that helps us, that helps too. Yeah, I kind of feel like the States is a little, it's some also a different world down there.
Hmm.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
all kinds of different worlds all over.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Mm.
definitely too. And speaking of different worlds, your music is all kinds of different genres. Like how do you manage to fuse them together?
Um, Honestly, I feel like that's kind of like a part of the fun of the music experience because it's a challenge because obviously I'm doing so many different like sounds that I don't want it to come off as like jarring or I don't want it to come off as confusing. So I kind of think of it when it comes to doing all those different sounds, I think the most important part is keeping what keeps me me and
Mm,
keeps my sound. So it's like the inflections in my voice, the words that I use. I think that will always remind people like, okay, this is Cruff.
nice.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like associating a color, but it's associating a sound. It's almost
Absolutely.
the same idea. You're known for having very high energy live performances. How do you prepare for a show, and what do you think people should expect from a show? Like if a fan's coming to see
High energy performances. Thank you for that,
you.
by the way.
That-
I appreciate
it's a compliment, definitely.
it. When I prepare for a show, because I still do get nervous for shows. I was telling Stephanie, my publicist, that I was very nervous for a show last night.
I watched
But
your Instagram story.
yeah, you did you?
Nailed it. Yeah.
Do I follow you? I'm gonna follow you back right after
I
this.
just yeah, I followed you recently.
Um, but I do still get nervous. So sometimes I kind of like jog, like I kind of like treat it like a boxing match, like I'm about to go to war. Sometimes it's kind of like I feel I kind of treat it as whenever I get too nervous, I kind of tell myself, you know what? If if it's okay if I'm nervous,
Mhm.
but if I can't do this, then I may as well just quit music right now. That's kind of like what I always tell myself.
That's a
And
lot of pressure, but
it is, but it's also like it's such a harsh decision to make in the moment that it always brings me back to boom. All right, this is what I want to do.
nice.
So I better get on the stage and do it.
What else when you're making music or anything, like what helps ground you?
When I'm making music,
Or well, just in
um,
life, like say that that's when you're performing. It helps bring you back. But what other things do you do that help kind of bring you back to life if ever it's getting too much?
my friends for sure, my friends and my family. I feel like just talking to them and like if when that pressure hits, I try to be as honest and as like transparent as possible. So I kind of just let them know, like, I'm feeling this way, I'm feeling that way. But just spending time with them, trying new activities, actually living life and like moving away sometimes from all the craziness that is music, like always makes me feel better.
Good,
Yeah.
nice. And what I'm asking so many questions about Canada, but so you
Hey,
said trying new activities. What's been your favorite Canadian activity so far?
Oh, my favorite Canadian activity. That's a good question. Um, I like rock climbing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I went rock climbing this one time, like one of the indoor rock climbers, and I was like, oh, this is pretty dope. Tell you what's not my favorite Canadian activity, snowboarding. Yeah, dude.
Fair.
Yeah.
It's
I'm like,
hard.
I'm like dying on the bunny hill, like tumbling over myself, and kids are just like, shh.
Kids have no
Yeah.
fear. Kids on the ski hill, 2 years old, and they don't have the concept of death, so they're just
It's
going.
it's because they're low-key indestructible. Like, have you ever watched a kid get hurt and then just walk
And
away?
then just
Like,
walk away.
yeah.
Just keep going down the hill. Yeah, I get it. It's not the easiest thing to do. So don't feel bad. But rock climbing is fun.
Rock climbing is fun, yeah.
What's been the most challenging part of music for you so far?
The most challenging for music, I think it's just there are those moments where I try these ideas and sometimes it doesn't work the way that it's supposed to. And you kind of have to spend that time to be like, okay, maybe you kind of have to not take it personal when the music doesn't work out the way that you want it to. Because sometimes you kind of like, as soon as it doesn't work out, you kind of like get in your head and it's like, is this me? Am I terrible? Am I a bad musician? And you have to kind of have that mental fortitude to be like, no, it's just that this idea didn't work out, or maybe I'm not the one that needs to execute this idea. So maybe should bring someone in and like have them feature on it. Like it's creativity at the end of the day, and it can really get you in your feelings and in your mood. But it's also not throwing away any idea because every idea is a good idea. You know what I mean? Or
True.
can be a good idea.
Yeah, if it's well properly implemented. How do you feel like you've ever struggled with the idea of wanting to create something, a sound or lyrics for yourself, but then thinking that your audience or the audience out there might not like it or might not resonate with it?
Not really. Not
No?
really. Like I've always kind of been like, unless the song is just like bad, you know what I mean? Which then no one will ever hear that song ever.
Have you had
But
that before? You're a song where you're like, you make it and you're like, not.
you know, yeah, I've had that
It's
before.
okay. You can admit to it. I'm sure Kate Janata has too.
Yeah, I'm like every artist has, you know what I mean? But what's the question again?
If you've ever struggled with more, I guess more just like the pressure of like, will people like this
Hmm.
versus like not wanting to stray away from who you are.
No, not really. I kind of feel like if you sit down and you worry about like, are people gonna rock with this? Then you're just gonna end up. It's gonna be like that analysis paralysis where you're thinking about it so much you just end up not doing anything in the first place.
Yeah,
So I try not to worry about what people are going to think. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Mm,
that's a good idea.
yeah.
What are your biggest inspirations, either people, places, things to do?
Mm.
Where do you find it?
If I think of places, I think of Skyline Drive, which is where I grew up.
Okay.
Um, it's kind of like up in the hills in Jamaica. And it's just such a common place to be, and the view is amazing. So sometimes when I'm up there, like I just write like little passages. It doesn't even have to be like music or anything. It's just like thoughts. So I kind of feel like that always brings out like something in me, something childlike in me, because it reminds me of my childhood, but with these new ideas that I'm coming with. I guess with people, you know who inspires me? I'm not even gonna go for anything musical. I'm gonna say my big brother Sage. He inspires me. Yeah. I'm gonna
Nice.
make it a little sentimental because he's kind of like my role model. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
It's good to have, be close with family and realize where you come from and then find
absolutely.
inspiration with that. Beautiful.
Mhm.
What advice would you give to people starting out?
In music,
Yeah.
don't I think it goes back to the same question of like worrying about what people are going to think about your sound.
Hmm.
Don't worry about what people are going to think about your sound. Just understand what message you want to convey and be very self-aware. Because I feel like sometimes artists don't really put themselves in that place of like, let me let me is this good? Like, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Like, I feel like as an artist, you need to have that conversation with yourself so you can lean on your strengths while you're working on your weaknesses, because nobody really sees you do that. You know what I mean? That's more of the background stuff. So I feel like that would be my biggest advice to people, just like the self-awareness of being like, what am I supposed to do? What role am I supposed to play? What kind of sounds can I deliver?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Advice. And outside of music, What do you do in your spare time? What are your other hobbies or interests?
In my spare time, it's pretty much just like reading. Like I just like picking up a book, going to Indigo and just like telling myself, oh, I'm gonna just buy one book and then walk out with like five,
Yeah.
you know? And just like gaining that knowledge. I feel like that's kind of like where I'm at in my life right now.
Who's your favorite author?
My favorite author, my two favorite authors are George R. R. Martin, of
Okay.
course, A Song of Ice and Fire, and Patrick Rothfuss. I feel like I always mispronounce his name, but he's dope.
Nice. I will look
Yeah,
him up.
yeah, absolutely.
And my last question, what can fans expect from you in the near future? What's next?
For me, fans can expect me to keep in the studio, keep delivering these vibes. Obviously, I'm working with like having a body of work out at some point because that's like the main goal.
Mhm.
But as of right now, I just wanna keep putting out this music and keep and using it as an opportunity to keep connecting with the fans that we're building with at the moment.
Nice.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well,
Yeah.
thank you. On
Yeah.
behalf of the Rising Star team, thanks for taking the time.
Thank you. You guys have been showing me love from time, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, and we're excited to keep seeing you rise for sure.